welcome to Weekend File on the NTA. We are live in Abuja. From the pre-independence constitution of Richard to the 1999 constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, there have been continuous agitation for constitutional reforms. Constitutional development is a significant feature of liberal democracy. On the 1st of March 2022, the National Assembly voted on 68 constitution amendment bills in response to calls by Nigerians on the need to strengthen the nation's political and socio-economic institutions. Devolution of powers, financial and administrative autonomy of local government, as well as financial independence of state houses of assembly are major provisions of the bills. Life pension for presiding officers of the National Assembly, affirmative action for women, and the reservation of political positions for women were among the ones rejected, while administrative and financial autonomy for local government and state assemblies were among the ones passed. The 9th National Assembly, having voted and passed 44 out of the 68 constitution alteration bills, transmitted them to the 36 states of the Federation on the 29th of March 2022 for concurrence. With months to the winding up of the 9th National Assembly, Weekend File this weekend focuses on the status of the 44 amendment bills now before state assemblies, progress and challenges so far. We shall bring you updates from zones, while Professor Dakas C.J. Dakas, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, lead consultant to the House of Representatives Special Committee on Constitution Review, joins us on our discussion segment. I am Kene Ima Aborike. Now the news. Charles III officially becomes monarch in historic ceremonies in St. James's Park and the Royal Exchange in London. Obigali Ugoke reports that his role was formally confirmed on Saturday.
Trumpets sound as Charles III is proclaimed the sovereign of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, an official resident of UK's kings and queens for centuries. 3 cheers for His Majesty the King confirmed the crown. 41 guns fired in Hyde Park and 62 guns at the Tower of London to mark the accession of the King. The Lord Mayor, various city officers, and group of senior politicians who advised the monarch took position on the top step of the Royal Exchange as trumpeters led the procession.
Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of his other realms and territories, King, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith,
publicly shouldering his new responsibilities, promising to follow the Queen's example, a move described by the Privy Council as a choreography of continuity.
I shall strive to follow the inspiring example I have been set in upholding constitutional government and to seek the peace, harmony and prosperity of the peoples of these islands.
During the Accession Council, the King approved the day of the Queen's funeral becoming a bank holiday. It was the Council's rule to formally acknowledge the passing of one monarch and then proclaim the new one on behalf of the British government as part of Britain's constitutional process. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
The federal government has directed that Nigerian flags in the country and at other diplomatic missions across the globe to fly at half-mast from Sunday 11 and Monday 12 September in honor of the memory of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who died last Thursday. In a statement by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the decision is to specially mourn the British Queen, who was also leader of the Commonwealth of Nations community. The statement added that the Queen was an iconic leader who exhibited a great strength of purpose throughout her reign in the United Kingdom, and as head of the Commonwealth, she fostered great stability and unity amongst nations. Under her leadership, Nigeria and Britain enjoyed exceptionally warm relations, making Britain as home to a large number of people of Nigerian origin thriving in different walks of life. In the meantime, the Nigerian government has described the late British monarch Queen Elizabeth II as an integral part of Nigeria's history, saying she will be greatly missed by Nigeria and the Commonwealth family. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said this during a condolence visit to the British High Commissioner in Abuja on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari and the Nigerian people. Maritime reports.
At Nigeria's independence in 1960, Queen Elizabeth II was constitutionally recognized as head of state until 1963. That explains the nation's emotional attachment to her recent demise, and this condolence visit by Secretary to the Government of the Federation in company of his wife Funmilayo to the official residence of the British High Commissioner in Abuja. The SGF signed the condolence register on behalf of the Nigerian government and people, noting that Nigeria stands with the United Kingdom in mourning the departed monarch.
She was a very gracious, elegant queen. Closer working relationship.
President Buhari visited the then Prince of Wales, now King Charles III, at one of his residences in Scotland, Dumfries House, a few years ago. So they have a lot in common, and I'm very hopeful that relationship between the two heads of state will enable us to continue the deepening and strengthening of the UK-Nigeria relationship.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, also visited the British High Commissioner in a separate audience to register his condolence to the British government and people.
She had a grasp of, even at her age, a grasp of all the issues that you can think about, the world issues. So she devoted her life, was a life of service.
He says Nigeria looks forward to more robust relations with the United Kingdom under the reign of King Charles III. In Abuja, Maritime, NTA News.
Now, the federal government has inaugurated a donors forum with a mission of meeting the 2023 census funding gap worth more than 681 billion naira. Vice President here, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, at a breakfast meeting with development partners, international and local organizations in Abuja, assures of Nigerian government determination to judiciously utilize every resource towards the forthcoming 2023 census process in Nigeria. Shaya Dabo has details.
As the breaking of the day, one important feature of it is the breakfast, and the federal government is initiating this get-together to update key players driving a census programs on how it has been putting money where amount is. A side presentation from the budget office explaining commitment to the population program since 2015, the federal government says through a budget system it has funded pre-census activities such as the area demarcation exercise EAD and trial census among others. Spokesman to the Vice President Lalu Akonde delivers the VP's message as the event.
This breakfast meeting therefore is a necessary step towards soliciting your support for the conduct of a census that will be truly digital, scientific, and produce data that will guide planning within the context of global economic challenges, insecurity, and human development situations. Funds given to the Commission will be judiciously managed in a transparent manner.
After explanation on Nigeria's position to conducting the 2023 census, partners and key players are joining the line.
The United Nations in Nigeria will continue to support the development efforts of Nigeria, including the implementation of a transformative census.
The target now is in actualizing this funding gap of more than 681 billion naira as speakers harp on the importance of Nigeria having an accurate census data of a population for planning and development. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army Education Center, Yaba, can now boast of a comfortable accommodation for officers and a fully equipped Hall of Fame Annie Daniels reports that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, unveils the projects in Lagos with a promise to do more to boost the morale of officers.
Armed Barracks, Yaba, played host to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, with past and present senior officers on ground to welcome him. The essence of this visit is to inaugurate notable projects here at the Nigerian Army Education Corps, Lagos. Among projects inaugurated by the Chief of Army Staff include this Hall of Fame, a library and collection of portraits of past Corps commanders, and the Nayak House, all well equipped,
which is the official residence of Corps Commander Education. Hitherto, he doesn't have a befitting accommodation for a commander of his status, but now you can see today it is commissioned. And this work goes across all other army formations and units, all of them, improvement, construction of new places, in order to enhance our comfort.
The multi-million naira projects were completed by the Corps Commander, Major General Muhammad Lawal Algi.
We realize that one of the major problems we have in the country, not only in the army, is the maintenance culture. And we have talked, especially before this time, that we have done this thing and everybody that comes must maintain the aesthetics that he made in the house.
With projects like these ones spread across the country, the Nigerian Army will remain a credible and strong defender of Nigeria and her citizens. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Another set of 3 abducted Chibok school girls have been rescued with their children, while commanders and other fighters of Boko Haram and ISWAP have surrendered en masse along with their arms. A theater commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, also disclosed some success stories in the theater of operation as the military continues to strive for sustainable peace in the area. Umaru Kirawa reports.
With communities finally being resettled and socio-economic activities picking up in fast pace, the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the northeast sub-region has continued to yield unprecedented results, with peace taking root in the nook and cranny of the lectured region. Jinkai Yamani and her 3 colleagues with their children were among the newly rescued abducted Chibok schoolgirls who are happy to regain their freedom, calling on marauding fighters to come out and embrace peace. The development, according to the theater commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, formed part of the successfully rescued 178 out of the 276 Chibok schoolgirls, as well as other success stories including the surrender of over 79,000 Boko Haram and ISWAP members and their families, with recovery of weapons among others.
For the insurgents, those that are willing to surrender, they still have that window to surrender.
The theater commander thanked President Muhammadu Buhari, the Chief of Army Staff, Borno State Government and other critical stakeholders for providing the necessary leadership and logistics to change the narrative of crime and criminality through improved synergy in the theater.
79,000 that have surrendered so far will put a lot of pressure on the 3 camps. Effort is being made to open a 4th camp and probably a 5th camp.
Despite the huge success, General Officer Commanding 7th Division, Major General Waidi Shaibu, said they are unrelenting in ensuring the restoration of lasting peace in their area of responsibility. In Maiduguri, Umari Kirawa, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has disbursed over 400 million naira and thousands of bags of food items and textiles in Bama, worst hit by the Boko Haram insurgency, during the 3-day engagement in Bama, a town once occupied by the insurgents, now a returning community full of life. The governor also directed employment of 30 health workers, including medical doctors, to enhance healthcare delivery services. Mohammed Goni reports.
2016 assessment report jointly published by the World Bank, the EU, United Nations and Nigerian government identified Bama as the worst affected by the atrocities perpetrated by Boko Haram, hence the special attention given to the town in areas of reconstruction and humanitarian support. As early as 6:30 in the morning, Governor Babagana Umara blocked up distribution amidst the gathering of thousands of beneficiaries. More than 60,000 male residents each received 2 bags of rice and maize, while 30,000 women each received a fabric and 5,000 naira cash. Beneficiaries of the food and non-food as well as cash support were full of praises to government.
Mr. President was in Maiduguri in commemoration of the World Humanitarian Day. The President has flagged up the distribution of food and non-food items to internally displaced persons. And indeed, the support of the Borno State government also. The Northeast Development Commission has given us rice. We also received some food items from Bama, and we also received some food items from the Nigerian Customs Service. Therefore, on behalf of the governor and people of Borno State, I wish to express my profound appreciation to the federal government.
Governor Bagana Umara also visited General Hospital Bama both day and night, where he interacted with the hospital officials on challenges hampering healthcare delivery service and directed immediate reconstruction of doctors' quarters. Professor Bagana Umara had during the visit also interacted with management and staff of Umar Ibn Ibrahim College of Education, Science and Technology, Bama, to identify challenges with a view to addressing them. Governor Zulum also inspected Bama Central Mosque and Government Lodge being constructed by the state government. He had also interacted with and offered support to the civilian JTF hunters and vigilante, where he also sympathized with the family of a slain member of the civilian JTF who died in operation, assuring continued support to the family, especially education of the children and a home. As part of the 3-day engagement, Governor Zulum also paid homage on the Shehu of Bama in Maiduguri. Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Elsewhere, future implications of broadcasting spectrum after digitization of the nation's broadcast platforms was the main thrust of a meeting between Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, NTA Management and Broadcast Network. The meeting was held on the sidelines of the ongoing International Broadcast Conference holding in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Anthony Fulson reports.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, top management of the NTA led by the acting director general Abdulhamid Dambos, general manager ITS Sadiq Musa, and the secretary general of the broadcasting networks, Europe, the body responsible for managing, operating and maintaining infrastructure that produces terrestrial signals. At this meeting, the implications of what happens to the spectrum that will be eased topped the discussion. Last backlogged feel the spectrum should remain with the broadcasters.
2 meetings in Dakar with the African Union of Broadcasters where we discussed what are the future implications of what is going on now. And we had a common declaration by 60 broadcasters in Africa that we want to retain the spectrum for broadcasting on the African continent. And that means that we should work for what is called a no change decision at the World Radio Conference. So we will retain the exclusive access to spectrum for broadcasting.
If the idea of co-primary is to be sustained, then there will inevitably be interference in broadcasting. And that as time goes on, broadcasting will not be able to provide the services in terms of educating, entertaining, and informing people. And we will become quite unusual in terms of national emergencies and national security.
With the introduction of digital television, we need more space, much more than when in the era of analog. So this is giving us a very much concern. The vacation of our so to say, right on spectrum is going to spell a doom, in fact, to our nations, because broadcast is very, very important to every given society, and so that is why we want to make a voice that's selling of the spectrum. We have to be very, very careful. How does it affect national security and also unity?
To this end, plans are underway to put together West African ministers of information as well as those saddled with communication to form a common front in that direction. From Amsterdam in the Netherlands, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The future of Nigeria's ICT sector is looking bright as school children receive training on new and emerging technologies at the STEM boot camp by the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, a subsidiary of NITDA. Chimdeman Devolution reports that the idea is to grow the interest of the younger generation in technologies and mathematics as the nation journeys towards full digital transformation.
12-year-old Aisha wants to develop an education software application using the Scratch app. This is after taking part in the STEM boot camp for kids within 8 to 16 age range. It lasted for more than 1 week.
I learned about robotics and drones. I learned about artificial intelligence, coding, IoT.
859 children in Abuja, Lagos and Kano states were exposed to numerous ICT skills. Those with outstanding performance went home with laptops and Arduino kits. The Director General NITDA challenged them to come up with software applications that will serve human needs, even their leisure gaming apps that will have African content.
Some of them, they have designed and printed a drone and they can fly the drones within a week. Some of them can code, some of them can develop a facial recognition system and many more. So this is what will encourage them to build career in these emerging technologies.
It doesn't end there. The future innovators are expected to enroll in other training programs going on at the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics to further sharpen already acquired skills. In Abuja, Chimdeman DBC, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission says the days of election result manipulation are over, with assurances of strengthening the result management mechanism of the Commission ahead of the 2023 general elections. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahamudu Yakubu, gave the assurance at an election results management roundtable in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Dashboard as presented by
the launch of the election results analysis dashboard by Yaga Africa, another milestone in efforts to make elections more transparent in Nigeria. It followed INEC results viewing portal deployed in some of the recent off-season elections conducted in Ekiti and Osun states. This roundtable offers the opportunity to review performances and build public confidence in INEC's election results management capacity.
Yes, the IREV is a public portal designed by INEC, but as a civil society organization, we perform our role as vanguards of the electoral process by providing citizens oversight. Nigerians can relate with these results because there are other processes. Now you can see it. You can see analysis of it. It's never been done anywhere around us and in our recent history. So we appreciate INEC for putting that.
INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu believes that over the years, the collation of results has been one of the weakest links in the election management process in Nigeria.
I can confidently say that the days of wanton manipulation of election results are over. This wanton manipulation of election results are clearly over. Yet, we are not resting on our oars, knowing that we must remain several steps ahead of those who seek to undermine the system. And there are many bad guys in the field trying to undermine the system. But we stand for electoral justice.
The election management body is of the strongest views that the new Electoral Act, which gives backing to the use of technology in the results management process, will help to build more confidence in the system. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And the National Inland Waterways Authority is expanding its area of collaboration to ensure total safety and navigation in waters under its domain. The latest move in that direction was the foundation laying of a 32-seater ferry boat for a modern passenger lounge at Yauri Waterside in Kebbi State. Hassana Abubakar Koko reports.
Managing Director, who was quick to remind all stakeholders the need to always comply with all ferry safety guidelines to avoid boat mishaps, said The development was aimed at improving water transportation in the state and by extension the nation's waterways. Meanwhile, he noted is determined through collaborative effort to ensure that mishaps noted with water transportation along Nigeria's waterways are checked, as demonstrated by the day's event.
This is one country that has over 10,000 kilometers of waterways spread across the country to the extent that you can access up to 28 states of our country by water. So what we are doing now is to see to what extent we can exploit this potential.
Senator representing Kebbi South Senatorial District, Senator Bala Ibn Allah, is a key stakeholder in the current effort to walk the talk by NIWA. He said the boats can be used for emergency evacuation and rescue if the need arises, as well as improve economic activities in the area. Highlights of the event was the inauguration of the ferry and foundation laying for modern passenger launch by the Emir of Yauri. The team had earlier paid homage to the Emir Dr. Zayyano Abdullahi at his palace to explore areas of collaboration. From Yauri, Kebbi State, Hassana Abubakar Koko, and
join us again on Wicked File right after the break.
It depends you, it depends us, it depends everybody. Yes, but not share, start up, come out, and no go solver. This one they talk, and make them go if they won't go. This one they talk, we go come out, we go. This one say, make we start up, make we go, make we do everything. When you start up, finish where you are. Okay, you go take private jet, carry your family go. But make I ask you, what about your uncle, mama, auntie, brother, sister? What about them? Remember, who throw stone for market? You don't know whether the stone go touch your own person. If the thing will go come out from your mouth, you no go fit gather us together as one people. Shut up with please. War no get friend. You don't know language, you don't know anything. So if our brigade too much, make we sit down at the table of dialogue. Nigeria na my own, Nigeria na your own, Nigeria na our own. Make we come together, keep them together.
The Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, cordially invites governors of the following participating states: Abia, Benue, Edo, Ekiti, Gombe, Kano, and the FCT Minister, as well as stakeholders in the skills development and acquisition sector, to the grand launch of the Innovation, Development, and Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills Ideas project taking place as follows. Date: Monday, 12th September 2022. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. Andrew Adejwa, David, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, presents the 27th Annual National Conference and Fellowship Awards 2022. Theme 1, Overcoming Challenges to Africa's Development, Agenda 2063 in Perspective. Theme 2, Economic Diversification and Informal Sector Growth. Date, Monday 12th to Thursday 15th September 2022. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Guest of honor, His Excellency Yahya Adoza Bello, FCNA, Executive Governor of Kogi State. Host, Reverend Canon Professor Benjamin Chuka Osisioma, FCNA, President and Chairman of Council, ANAN. To register, visit www.anan.org.ng. Hajjazwera Talatu Kishini, FCNA, Chairman, Conference Workshops and Publicity Committee. Signed, Dr. Kayode Ulushola Faswa, FCNA, Chief Executive Officer, ANAN. Announcer. Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been informed, educated, and entertained of. When you needed information, knowledge, or escape.
Generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And this service will finally be recognized.
This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unfinished excellence in the broadcasting media. We've served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria. For more details, log on to www.awards.ng and follow social media handles at TNB Awards.
I am His Royal Majesty the Agabite Elaibu Odogbo Obagaji John the Ochiduma the Fifth. I want to let you know that road traffic clashes are not accidents. They are caused by the actions and inactions of road users. Be careful anytime you are on the road, because other road users may lack skill and adequate knowledge of the traffic laws and regulations. And I join the Federal Road Safety Corps to enjoin you to adhere to those safety regulations.
Welcome back to Weekend File. The removal of prisons from exclusive legislative list and redesignation as correctional services and concurrent legislative list will not only enhance criminal justice system but forestall incidents of jailbreak and congestion challenges across the country. Musa Toliat reports that this was part of resolutions of the Lagos House of Assembly on the 44 constitutional amendment bills transmitted to it by the National Assembly.
After extensive deliberations by the Lagos House of Assembly, the legislature resolved that the peculiarity of Lagos State in terms of its population and economic potentials require effective criminal justice system to stem the tide of criminality. Hence, the need for governors to take charge of correctional services in their respective states.
We support the position of all other that devolution of prisons should be the exclusive list of the state government. It should be now a correctional center, and when you have more correctional centers that is well equipped, that is with infrastructure, then you will be able to correct whatever input that is coming out from such system.
It's like a criminal law. Criminal jurisprudence everywhere in the world is a domestic affairs. So the state should be given the responsibility to manage our correctional centers.
The lawmakers say the ongoing red and blue rail line projects necessitated their position on the need to move railway to concurrent legislative list.
Movement of people from one point to the other is the priority of the state. When you release such items of the exclusive list, then you are adding value. You are adding development to the state.
Taking charge of security, control over waterways, and independent candidacy were part of a decision by the Lagos Assembly on the 44 constitutional amendment bills.
Our state police should be in place. Likewise, the local government police, so that they can police. The essence of it is to police the community for good cohabitation.
If that security aspect is taken with good faith, is going to help our security architecture and is going to make funding more accessible.
Section 4 says something about good governance, peace and tranquility. When that happens, it will now bring more peace, good governance to any state who can manage their affairs, who can manage it better than the federal government.
Legislation on the amendment bills will require at least 2/3 of the state houses of assembly and the president's assent to become a law. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And as Nigerians look forward to the 9th National Assembly to wind up the proposed 44 constitutional amendment, concerned stakeholders have restated the need for devolution of power to the federating units, among others. The Babari Siedemaweke reports that they are also urging the State House of Assembly to fast-track action on the proposed amendment before the expiration of the tenure of the current legislators.
For the South-South geopolitical zone, review of revenue allocation formula or derivation, state police as well as devolution of power were top on the list. Stakeholders say they yearn for devolution of power from the center to the states as it will strengthen institutions and provide good governance.
These are some of the issues that a citizen will benefit. If you now come down and said, how do we make the laws about this thing? And then shift the power from the concurrent list to the residual list, where the state assemblies will have power over it, and then the National Assembly, the Senate.
Power is no longer on the exclusive list of Britain. It's no longer controlled by the federal government of Britain or America. Power is now controlled by the states.
Others say competition should be allowed in the electricity sector, as both federal and state levels should see themselves as drivers of the Constitution amendment exercise.
The bill should make it possible for private individuals that want to create jobs by creating electrical hubs, no matter how little it is, people could be given approval to create electricity.
The bills will require the approval of 2/3 of state houses of assembly, or 24 out of the 36 state assemblies, to become law. In Port Harcourt, Dibabari Siedumaweke, NTA News.
Professor Dakas C.J. Dakas, a senior advocate of Nigeria, lead consultant to the House of Representatives Special Committee on the Constitution Review, joins us in the studio tonight. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you for having me.
So how would you describe the ongoing Constitution Amendment process by the present National Assembly?
Thank you very much. First of all, I think we need to underscore the fact that the Constitution, it's a fundamental document that stands at the apex of our legal system. And when we appreciate the fact that the Constitution is very critical to our polity and our democratic experience, then we can then situate the ongoing constitutional alteration exercise. The second, I think it is also important to step back and appreciate the fact that since 1999, we have had 4 successful constitutional alteration exercises. The ongoing exercise is the 5th in the series. And as you rightly pointed out, I have the privilege of the opportunity to serve as the lead consultant to the House of Representatives Special Committee on the review of the Constitution. And given that privileged position, I have insight in terms of the dynamics that are currently at play. Now, regarding your specific question, and as you rightly pointed out over the course of this program, what has transpired thus far is that 68 bills were voted on by members of the National Assembly, both chambers of the National Assembly, out of which 44 were approved and transmitted to the State Houses of Assembly for concurrence. And as we speak, the information at my disposal is that 9 of the State Houses of Assembly have so far voted on the bills, and some of them. Yes, because what then happens is each House of Assembly considers the 44 items, votes on each of the items, and then transmits to the National Assembly. Now, clearly, we have several milestones that have been accomplished. First, the fact that members of the National Assembly have been able to vote on the 68 bills and transmitted the 44. That's a major milestone. Second, in the course of the exercise, there were zonal hearings. That's also a milestone. Now, where we are at the moment, which is extremely critical, is for the State Houses of Assembly to make returns to the National Assembly. And as your report pointed out, the National Assembly transmitted those 44 amendments to the states as far back as the 28th of March. That's almost 6 months ago. Now, that's an awfully long time for the returns to return from the states to the National Assembly. I understand part of the challenge. You would recall that within this period, political parties had their party primaries, and so that took a significant part of the time. But I'd like to underscore the imperative need for the State Houses of Assembly to transmit the outcome of the deliberations in their respective Houses of Assembly to the National Assembly, because as you all know, the 2023 elections are upon us. The Presidential and National Assembly campaigns will start within this month of September. The governorship and State Houses of Assembly campaigns will start in October. So time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. And I appeal to all the stakeholders that are involved in this exercise to accord it the premium that it deserves. Time is of the essence. It needs to be prioritized. While we celebrate the milestones, clearly there's a lot of work that remains to be done.
Well, considering the fact that, according to you, 9 states have gone ahead with theirs, I think your call or your appeal is apt. But then there was zonal, okay, you mentioned it, the zonal public hearing. Did it actually capture the views of the public in the entire process?
As lead consultant to the House Committee, I had the privilege of participating in the zonal hearings that were organized by the House of Representatives in the 6 geopolitical zones. And Nigerians were given the opportunity to engage with members of the National Assembly. Indeed, before the zonal hearings, the National Assembly issued a memo in the papers calling for memoranda from Nigerians on aspects of the Constitution that they would like to see altered or amended. And it was after we had received the submissions from all over the country that the zonal hearings were held in order to provide Nigerians an opportunity to constructively and productively engage with the committee. And from my experience, I think that Nigerians had ample opportunity to articulate their positions regarding the exercise.
Now, from that offshoot, does it mean that all the bills on the empowerment of women, which were all rejected, leading to complaints by these women, are all okay by everybody?
No, certainly not. You see, after the zonal hearings, the special committees had to meet. First, the special committee in the House of Representatives, chaired by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Idris Wase, met. The corresponding committee at the Senate, led by the Deputy Senate President, Omo Agege, also met. And we then had joint sessions of the House Committee and the Senate Committee, and in the course of time interacted with the speakers of the State Houses of Assembly. And the committee system is part of the legislative process. So votes were taken.
They were all against the women.
At the level of the committees, they actually passed. Let's pass at the level of the committees, but in plenary.
Let's pause it there.
Yes.
We'll have some more questions for you, but that will be after the break. You're watching Weekend File on the NTA. Do stay with us.
Efficiency and quality. National Center for Women Development. Home away from home. With our newly renovated rooms and conference facilities, the facility has a standard, single, and double rooms. We are second to none in Abuja and uncomparable to none. We also have a standby power source. Visit us today at the National Center for Women Development, Central District area, opposite Central Bank of Nigeria Headquarters, Abuja, or telephone 070-511-1163, or visit our website www.ncwd.gov.ng. National Center for Women Development, rebranding, restructuring, and repositioning.
Fest 2022, Nigeria's biggest cultural festival, the festival that unites the nation. Date 7th to 13th November 2022 at the National Stadium and the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. For sponsorship and support, please call Ade 0813-415-4562, Akin 0803-067-5818, Carlo 0803-544-7776. NAFest, using culture to unite the nation. Chairman, National Festival Planning Committee, announcer.
Oh boy, this one where I read. You carry machete, you see carry gun. What you want to can do?
After the para like this, I don't vex.
Oh boy, calm down now.
Like this, see like this, I dey go scatter those businesses. You know, they get set up our people businesses, You don't see them. See, and they go there, they go like, and they go show them better credit. They never see anything.
If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block.
how you go take survive? See, this way talk not true. But I still the vex. Calm down. Make we embrace peace. Peace and unity. Everybody.
My people, make we gum body with peace and unity. Make we learn to live as brothers and sisters so that we country will still move go permanent sides. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Some state houses of assembly in the South-East Zone have supported the passage and implementation of the 5th alteration bills of the 1999 Constitution after filling the polls of members of their constituencies. Chicago reports that the amended bills, if implemented, will go a long way in strengthening the democratic processes and encourage economic development.
The members of Assembly conducted a public hearing where participants deliberated on and adopted resolutions on financial autonomy of the local government, House of Assembly and judicial reform, which, according to them, has been long overdue.
That way of between cannot achieve effectively which of the 1999 Constitution, that is fundamental objective and the of agency is not really justiciable.
For the legislators, the amendment of the bills is one that will enhance democratic principles in the country. Some key players also bared their minds on the amended bills.
The people have to be involved in the day-to-day running of the affairs of the state. That is what the legislature does. That's what the legislature has been established to do.
There's no financial autonomy. They have to be dependent. And when they are dependent on government, then government have to dictate to them what to do.
Yes, it is a good development, but then the stakeholders, the state actors involved in implementing that law should also try and abide by the provisions of the law.
Meanwhile, will Enugu State House of Assembly and others in the South-East Zone have voted in favor of the amendment?
We're still here with Professor Dakas, CJ Dakas, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Let's quickly land on the issue of women.
Yes, thank you very much. And this is an extremely important issue. Mainstreaming gender into the Nigerian constitution. There were 3 critical bills that had to do with affirmative action in relation to women. The first bill had to do with special seats for women in the legislative arm of government at both the national and state levels. Second, there was a bill that sought to address the plight of women that are married to husbands in states other than their own. Third, there was a bill that had to do again with the plight of women that are married to foreigners. You see, so these bills, sadly, even though were passed at the committee level, were not passed at plenary. But the good news is that at least 2 of the bills that address the plight of women married to foreign husbands and women married to husbands in states other than their own, those 2 bills, the House of Representatives has met a commitment to revisit those 2 bills.
Okay.
But let me then also say this, because this is very important. It's a new development that took place, I think, just within the week. I have information to the effect that the speakers of the state houses of assembly have met and written to the National Assembly, identifying about 4 issues in respect of which they would like the National Assembly to take action. One of them is the issue of state policing. State policing was among the 68 items that were voted upon, but it wasn't among the 44 transmitted to the Houses of Assembly because it didn't get the required threshold in the National Assembly. Now, the speakers of the state assemblies are now saying they would like the National Assembly to vote on state policing. Second, there is a bill that seeks to address the subject of a proposal to create a state judicial council separate from the National Judicial Council at the national level. My understanding is that this communication has come to the National Assembly, and my hope is that the National Assembly will also take stock in good time.
Okay,
and
one more important question. Of course, in the past there used to be, bill on state curation. How come this time around we don't hear about it?
In the course of the zonal hearings, several groups and individuals actually made submissions for state creation. But when we start to take a look at the submissions, we discovered that they were not in compliance with the procedure set out in Section 8 of the Constitution. So that's actually why you don't see them among the 44 bills or among the 68 that were voted upon.
We sincerely appreciate your submissions here tonight.
Thank you.
Professor Dakas, CJ Dakas. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
We'll be talking with Professor Dakas, CJ Dakas, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Lead Consultant to the House of Representatives Special Committee on Constitution Review. We'll have time for one more lap of break on Weekend File.
Easy. Forget the winners and the losers. Forget every moment that stole the show, because this is a brand new season on GoTV, and it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it, with over 7 leagues and top competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, GoTenna, plus 1 month GoTV Max for 6,900 Naira only. Bigger season, greater football. GoTV. Love it.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Let's now talk sports with Emajo Adipu.
Saturday was match day 3 at the ongoing Nigerian Navy Games in volleyball, which is taking place at the Teslim Balogun Stadium Volleyball Court, Lagos. In some matches, Western Naval Command beat Logistic Command 2-0 in the male category, while National Headquarters defeated Eastern Naval Command 2-0 in the female category. In boxing, Balogun of Western Naval Command beat Abdullahi of Central Naval Command by technical knockout after the team of Abdullahi threw in the towel. In swimming, some of the events concluded on Saturday shows that Omotayo Benji of Western Naval Command came out tops in the 200 meters men freestyle in a time of 2.2016 seconds, while in the women's final, Bishop Ikoko of the Central Naval Command finished in the first position in a time of 3.13.38 seconds. Team Nigeria won a bronze medal at the 10th Commonwealth Karate Championships in Birmingham after Aderonke Ogunsonwo defeated her Indian opponent by 4-0 in the 50 kg female category.
We have been doing very well to ensure that we position Nigeria in the medal table in all the championships that we have participated.
26 countries are competing in the championships, with Nigeria making her debut appearance. 3 years after he lost the crown to the Egyptian, Nigerian table tennis superstar Aruna Quadri is back as the king of table tennis in Africa after an outstanding performance Friday afternoon. Quadri defeated his Egyptian nemesis in the senior table tennis to reclaim the African title 4-3 in the keenly contested entertaining final at the senior table tennis competition in Algeria, as he smiled home with the prize money. Quadri won the 2022 African Table Tennis Championship after an incredible final encounter against Omar Assar. With sports update, Emajo Adipu, NTA News.
The remains of late Henry Effium, acting general manager, NTA Sports Abuja, have been laid to rest in his family compound in Buck Street, Calabar. The funeral, which was conducted by the African Church Cathedral of Christ Diocese of Calabar, drew sympathizers within and outside the state. Erika Ivy was there.
NTA family from different stations across the country, with sympathizers including former Senate leader Senator Victor Ndomaiba, came to pay their last respects to the late Henry Ekpo, son of a one-time general manager NTA Calabar, Chief Victor Ishum. In his message, death is an appointment to all mortals. The officiating minister, Most Reverend Ofiong Mensa, advised Christians to keep faith with God by impacting humanity positively. In a biography read by the deceased daughter, Asari Sandra Ishum, Henry Ekpo Ishum was born in 1971 to the family of Chief Victor Ishum and late Mrs. Lillian Ishum of Akpabuyu local government area of Cross River State.
Any parent's biggest nightmare is the loss of a child, and it cannot be any less so for Chief Victor Ishum.
Yeah, he's full of jokes. There's no dull moments with Henry. He's a kind-hearted man.
We are totally devastated at this death. None of us expected that kind of a thing, considering the father's age.
It was solemn and emotional at the graveside as the body of late Henry Ishum was interred. He is survived by aged father, children, and a host of relatives. In Calabar, Erika Ivy, NTA News.
And you so rest in peace. That concludes Weekend File tonight on the NTA. Thanks indeed for watching, and remember to join the NTA in the